Hello, this is Dr. Jim Sharps again from the IIOM YouTube channel. And I have a very interesting topic today. I've been getting a lot of questions, a lot of comments about the role that food plays in contributing to your health, vitality, and more importantly, your energy. And so what I want to talk about and what I want to cover today is the role that food plays in your overall energy reserves and in your health and vitality. And this is the question that I want to answer. What percentage of your energy comes from food? So what percentage of your energy comes from food? So let's think about that. And there are really four factors involved, four major factors in this answer in terms of their contribution to your overall energy. And it's air, water, rest, and food. So think about it. You might want to write it on the side. And we're going to build up, and I'm going to show you by way of explanation and this is a lot of stuff that you know, that you really haven't thought about, and things that you're aware of, and the science proves it. It's observational, etc. And it's common sense, it's chemistry, it's biology, biochemistry. So again, what percentage of your energy comes from food? Of those four factors. So let's look at it. Let's look at food first. And the question I want to pose to you, let's think about this. How many days can you live without food? You know, people, stop and think about it. Say, well, I know I can live a day or two. In the Bible, there's at least 3 people that lived without food, no water, no nothing for 40 days. Now, I'm not recommending that, but we know that you can live without food for 40 days. When I worked at a supervised fasting facility for my first doctorate, that's where I did my internship. It was at a supervised fasting facility. And there was actually one person there that actually fasted just on water for 100 days. Now, he was over 300 pounds. And interestingly enough, at the 80th day, he started gaining weight. So I'll come back to that. Okay, so we know you can live at least 10, 20, 30, 40 days without food. Even, you see, I'm a light build, and I've myself fasted for 14 days. I think that's the most I've fasted just on water alone. And I could have gone longer, but basically that's what I have personally done. I've worked with somebody who fasted just on water for 40 days. Actually, he did it right through the Thanksgiving holiday. So I know just from my personal and from my professional experience, you can live without food for 40 days. So we established that. So the next question is, how long can you live without water? Okay, and you stop and think about it, say, well, okay, you can live probably 7 to 10 days. I think the record is, after an earthquake or something like that, they find somebody. I think the record was like 30 days. But normally you can live without water for 10 days. We talked about the people that in the Bible, Moses, Jesus, and who else? Elijah. They lived without food and water for 40 days. Again, I'm not recommending that. But you know that you can live without water for a long period of time. Let's say 10 days. So we already established 40 days without food, 10 days without water. The next question is, how long can you live without rest? So think about it. And the answer is about 3 to 5 days. You might be able to stretch it and go 5 or 6 days, 7 days, maybe. But usually 3 to 5 days. After that first 24, 48 hours, you just start falling asleep, and it is very, very difficult to last more than 3 to 5 days. So we established you can live without food for over 40 days. You can live without water for 10 days. You can live without rest for 3 to 5 days. So you're starting to get a sense for now what contribution food plays in the contributions to your energy and your reserves. Okay, now the last question is, how long can you live without air? How many days? And people scratching, what are you talking about? How many days? You can't live for more than 3 to 5 minutes without air. You can't even force yourself to stop breathing, because if you try to stop breathing, the brain kicks in and it just forces you to start breathing. So you can live without food for 40 days or more. You can live without water for 10 days. You can live without rest for 3 to 5 days, but you can't live without air for more than 3 to 5 minutes. So now the contribution that food plays to your energy, the percentage of energy. And so now I can give you the numbers and it'll all start to make sense. So air contributes 56%, rest 24%. So between air and rest, that's 80% of the contribution to your energy. And then water contributes 15%, and 5% is the contribution of food to your energy. So this probably surprises a lot of you, especially when I usually ask the question. People say 60 to 80% of your energy comes from food. But the fact of the matter is that from an energy standpoint, some of the foods that we eat, actually, it robs you of more energy. It takes more energy to digest the food than what it yields. And so it's surprising to a lot of people the importance of air and water and rest to that energy, to the real energy. And so what does this mean now? This means, though, that if you're using more energy than you're getting from your food on a regular basis, that's shortening your life. And so it's cutting down the productive years of your life. So it is very important. Food is very important, and you can't avoid it as humans. But it's very important to put it in this proper perspective. And now I'm going to associate something very close to that, which I'm not going to cover today. I'm going to cover in a future YouTube. But where is the biggest contribution? Where do you get your biggest contribution to the protein, to your protein requirements? Because everybody's talking about protein. Where do you get your protein, especially if you're a vegetarian, etc.? So we're going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that today, but remember this. Remember this very important explanation of where your energy comes from, and how you live a long life. So actually, studies show now, earthworm studies show that when earthworms cut back on their food a certain amount, they can live 25 generations longer. So it's good to study animals and earthworms because they don't live as long as human beings. So you don't have to wait years to figure this out. You can figure it out in a matter of months what the contribution is. So remember this, and the next subject I'm going to cover, because now that we understand this very important relationship of food, what I want to talk about in the next YouTube is the role of fasting in boosting and improving your immune function, and how it can add 15 to 30 productive years to your life. So now that we have the context of food, I don't think you'll be as reluctant or as skeptical about how the role that fasting can play in boosting your immune system. So hopefully this helped. If you found this helpful and you like to see more videos like this, more explanations like this, please like us below. put in any questions or comments you have about this, and other topics you'd like us to cover, because what we are trying to do here on this IIOM YouTube channel is to help you to be empowered with understanding how you can manage your health and vitality to add 15 to 30 productive years to your life. So you want to stay tuned for our next video, where we're going to talk about fasting and empowering you and how you can fast. And what you're going to be surprised to know, that everybody can do certain kind of fasting. So we're going to talk about the different types of fast. See, everybody thinks that fasting is just one type of fasting, or they're very confused about the subject. But what we're going to cover is different types of fast, and we show you that of these different ones, you can fit into one of them. So until I see you the next time, bye for now, and God bless.